today's episode, we're going to be continuing the work on the short sword. We forged this out of a very large Williams wrench, and in this episode, we're going to be profiling, grinding in the bevels, heat treating, and putting a handle on it to complete the build. It does have a slight distal taper, being thicker towards the back and then moving thinner up, so I want to leave it relatively thick prior to heat treating to try to minimize warps, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, let's jump into starting this second part of this build off with some profiling. Let's get it. So here I'm starting with a used 36 grit belt to begin to grind in the bevels. I like to do this prior to heat treating only because the blade is in its softened state or a annealed state, and it's much easier to grind through the metal when it's soft as opposed to being hard. And you also don't have to worry about the heat. It's very easy to overheat a heat-treated blade when you're on a belt grinder. So I like doing it at least halfway prior to heat treating. Here I'm drilling out the slot for the tang to go into this really cool wooden block that I've got that I'm going to use for the handle. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious as to what style of video you like. Do you like seeing the clips like this where they're just sped up and it gives you a general idea of how I made a knife? Or do you like the parts that are slowed down where I'm talking more in depth about how I'm doing something and why I'm doing a certain step? I don't really know, what you guys prefer. And if you left a comment in the comments, let me know. What do you think? Do you like it kind of quick and fast paced, or do you like it when we slow it down and we get more in depth into certain steps? I'm sure some people out there would appreciate that. I feel like most of the viewers probably just want to be entertained and want to see the finished knife. So I'm always torn in between, do I hurry up and speed through this part, or do I slow down and talk about what I did? Anyway, let me know what you think. Much appreciated. All right, that last clip there, you saw me using the contact wheel to kind of shape out this bottom portion of the handle. So far, I'm pretty happy with the way this thing's turned out. It's got a cool looking shape. It's kind of cylindrical up front for the first finger in the hand, and then the other three fall behind this hump here, and just makes for a really good, comfortable grip. I'm at a good point now where I'm okay leaving this be for a minute. I'm ready to jump to the back to the blade and get that thing heat treated. I also too wanted to take a second and talk about the little blades that I've been making on the side. This is a little file knife made out of a Nicholson file. It's got acrylic for the handle, and this thing is really cool. It's just like a little palm handle, goes in your palm. And if you wanted to carry this thing, that's kind of what it's meant for, just an everyday carry. Maybe you made a sheath, and that's what would be sticking out of the sheath. So it's not some big bulky handle that you're going to have to carry, and it fits in your palm really well, and it's it's going to make a really good everyday carry type of knife. I have this knife currently on my wife and I's Etsy page. If you like this knife and you want to buy it from me, I'll leave a link in the comments where you can go and check this thing out. I also have this other one that I'm working on, and several more on the Etsy page for sale if you're interested. So go check it out. If you're not interested in that, my wife makes incredible jewelry out of gemstones and crystals. Maybe you have a lady in your life that you like and want to give her a gift, need to give her a gift. You absolutely need to be gifting your ladies. You're out here in your shop screwing around with all the metal and the knives and such, and you spend a lot of time out in your shed. Don't forget about the ladies. Go check out the Etsy store. Scoop you up something cool that she'll love and be able to wear forever. So go check it out. Let's go ahead and jump back to heat treating the big blade. So now I'm just going to take this normal metal file and we'll run over the edge of the blade, and we'll see if we can knock off any decarb here and then test it for hardness.
lot of decarb on that, and it's already skating that file. Let's go ahead and check the 60 HRC, and we'll see where that comes in. The 60 HRC file isn't even touching it. Let's try the 65. Not a whole lot going on with this 65, so it's definitely good and hard. I would say that for this one, we'll probably treat it kind of like I did the pipe wrench, and probably go ahead and temper this thing about 400 degrees, which is a pretty good heat, and hopefully that'll knock back some of the hardness. It's definitely wicked hard. So we'll do 400 degrees for a couple hours and bring the temper back. Okay, so after spending a little bit of time drilling out the holes on this knuckle bow, we've got the different pieces of brass. If I can get it to focus, there we go. Different pieces of brass and copper and steel plugged into the holes. So all of this really is just kind of me messing around with different ideas. I've never really done something like this before, and really just wanted to try something different. So what we're going to do from this point is we're going to go ahead and grind all the forge scale off of the knuckle bow here. So I've done that to the bottom and the top and the other side. And if we zoom in here, you can kind of see the different metals kind of inlaid into the metal. And so once I get this polished out some, I'm hoping that it'll look unique and different. So I'm going to go ahead and finish with the other side and grind all that down, and then do a little bit more shaping that, and then see where that gets us. All right, so we have one short sword complete. This thing turned out super cool. It took me about a month to make this, but really it's only because I worked on it on the weekends And a couple of the weekends that I worked on it, I only worked maybe an hour or two, so it took me a while to make it, but it's finally done, and I think it turned out super cool. I love the handle. It turned out really good. It's got a mix of 2 pieces of burl and some epoxy that runs in between, and it just looks really, really cool. It's kind of hard to pick it up out here in the light, but very, very cool. And then everything from the forged finish to just the overall profile with the swoop at the end here and the knuckle bow. I just think it looks really, really cool. I did a little bit of just etching here at the bottom, just kind of a vine sort of thing. You know, just trying some different stuff. And then the top of the spine is nice and shiny and has that distal taper. Overall, it's just a really cool short sword. Something that I'm definitely glad that I made. And to think that all this came from an old rusty wrench. It's pretty cool to be able to take something that was not being used and turn it into a usable short sword, and one that looks pretty cool and performs really well. This thing is super sharp. In fact, right behind me here, I have a very large paper towel roll. I actually don't think it had paper towels on it. I'm not sure what it had. I think actually wrapping paper maybe. So let me go give it a chop and see if we can cut through it. This thing is definitely sharp and works like it should. So there you go. There is one short sword in the books. I'm really glad if you're watching to the end of this video. Thank you very much for checking it out. I hope you got some enjoyment out of this build series, and look forward to catching you in the next one. I'm thinking about doing the viewer portion of the apocalyptic challenge. I have a pretty cool idea of a weapon that I'd like to try to make. It's not something that's conventional. It's kind of maybe 2 weapons in one, if I can pull it off right. So I don't know if I'll start that the next episode, but it will be here soon. Got till, I believe, October to do that. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.